Yay Media Group.
I needed a diaper. It was so bad. And I needed the big granny panties too. No thongs.
Jordan just poops in a bag and ties a knot in it and just leaves it there. So do that next time.
Hey guys, episode 214. Jeff is tight today. He just woke up like 5 minutes before we did this. I left you alone. I was debating whether to do it by myself.
Well, you could have woken me up like 10 minutes before, so I woke up.
Well, I was letting you sleep as long as possible so you could get your sleep in.
All right.
Did you have a rough day?
No, I just had a lot of shows today, so I just came home and took a little nap.
You ate your kava, and then you got your belly full, and then that does it, and then you start watching a true crime show, and it's done.
Once I lay down and put a blanket on, it's over.
Oh, it sounds so nice. Yeah, today, Lawson's home. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole sick thing, but Lawson's home. He's had fever, so I'm hoping he's better tomorrow because this week I felt like, okay, I can get back into my routine. And so since he was home with me, I ended up cleaning out the pantry, which felt really good to do. I want new shelves for the pantry.
I've seen on Instagram those shelves where you take your regular shelves, but you cap it with wood. Yeah. It's like pretty simple project, but then it looks like it's all wood in there, but you just cap it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'll do that.
Do it.
Let me pencil that in. I'll put it at the top of the list.
It's just the shelves are white and the food gets stained because of the previous owners. There's no telling how long those shelves have been there. And it doesn't matter, like, if I really scrub it and try to get it as white as possible, it still has like those stains on it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then we had, I don't know why, we had 2 Crockpots in there that are broke, and we still had those on the shelves. And
the Crockpot they both worked, but somehow over the years, both the pots broke.
That's right.
So you could keep the Crockpot still works, but the ceramic pot cracked, so it leaked. But now you could get these things on wherever, Amazon. It's like kind of silicone, and you put that inside the ceramic. You know what I mean? So it doesn't leak.
Well, we have one, and that's fine.
Because the other 2 broke.
Yeah. So I love my Crockpot. My friend actually
Am I still asleep, or are we talking about Crockpots?
I love Crockpots. My friend we are obsessed with French onion soup, and she did, normally in the mornings we call each other, and it's, do you have any recipes? Because we're always trying to plan what we're going to eat. My kids are super picky. Mine's normally like tacos, ground beef, things like that. And she did a French onion recipe, and she said it was so good. So I told her to send it over because I'm going to make it this weekend.
How did I get knocked out of the French onion conversation?
What do you mean?
I love French onion too.
You were at work. She just called me today.
I'm just saying, you're like, we love French onion. I thought we love French onion. Now it's you and Lisa love French onion. No. I'm out of the French onion conversation.
My whole cul-de-sac loves French onion.
Who doesn't like French onion?
We go to
Why do you think I brought those ramekins to make French onion at home? but apparently I don't love them anymore.
We go to this bar that has the best French onion. And if we, all 6 of us go, we're so cheesy. All 6 of us get French onion.
Speak cheesy.
Yeah.
That's why I like French onion, because it's cheesy.
Especially
like a cold day, because it's an English pub. And so it's like a cold day. They have a fireplace in there. It's like the best for like a crock pot and like a pint of Guinness.
Towards the end of our cruise, on Celebrity Cruise.
Crock pot.
I wasn't feeling the best.
And Are you listening to me? Am I just talking?
What?
I wasn't even speaking right. I said crock pot. I meant French onion. You're not even listening. Go ahead. What you got an agenda? Go tell your story about you and your lover, Lisa.
So on Celebrity Cruise, I wasn't really feeling that great towards the end. I was just run down. And there was this one restaurant on the ship that had French onion, and I kept getting that every single night for dinner.
Me too. I don't know how I got erased from history as far as French onion goes. But anyways, everybody, I like French onion too.
Okay, tonight we are doing some extra episodes, and on TogetherMess Instagram, we asked you guys to send in some questions. And then on my Instagram, I asked you guys to send in some questions. So we're going to do some voicemails. Somebody wrote an email. I love that. And we are just going to answer some questions tonight.
What do you mean they wrote an email?
Somebody sent in an email. Riley sent it to me. It's very nice.
Oh, you're going to read it? Mm-hmm. No more taking jabs? No reading bad?
I love the negative comments.
Did that air today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Did people like it?
I think so.
I wonder if any of those people got it in the comments.
No. I mean, there's always going to be a negative one.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
You can't make anybody happy. Don't mention.
You can't make everybody happy.
You can't mention one thing. And somebody
I'm really starting not to care. There's too much to care about. You can't care about everything. You know what I mean?
No, it's crazy.
Impossible. Oh, banana pancakes. Yeah. There's too much going on in the world to like have a hand or a sympathetic comment about every single thing going on.
Well, you can feel the heaviness going around, and I choose just not to talk about it and not bring that stuff up. I don't even know what's going on because I'm avoiding it. I'm trying to avoid everything, and I just want to stay in my bubble, and I want to be happy, and I want to focus on good things, and I don't want to know anything bad.
Yeah. Well, from what I see, you only get half the story, depending on where you get your information from. It's only one side of the story. And then with AI, I go on my Instagram, I don't even know what's true. I'm like, oh my God, did that happen? Like I see like an animal attack video and I'm like, that's not real. A lion pulled somebody out of the car. I'm like, what's happening? I don't even know what's real.
There's people that are AI now, like AI influencers or AI models, something like that. And I thought it was a real person.
Yeah, I don't know what's real. Was this I get tricked.
Real pretty girl. And I was like, oh, I love her hair color. And I clicked on her page and she's not real. And I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world?
I was watching, this is totally off subject, but before I left work today, we have the TV on in the background and they had TMZ on. And I was about to leave and there was some girl, she just turned 18. I have no idea who she is. She's like an influencer, like a TikToker. She just turned 18. Her first day on OnlyFans, she made $3 million in one day.
Oh, I think I saw something like this.
And then I was like, what? And like in the office, I was like, what do you do on OnlyFans? Like,
do you
what
have
is it?
to get naked?
That's what I asked. I'm like, what is it? So I guess sometimes they do. It's like porn, I guess you could, or it's like one-on-one. Like they're like, hey, Jordan, this is for you. But I'm like, how?
But it's
like,
a FaceTime? A one-on-one?
I don't know. I have no idea. My question is, whatever it is, if it's porn, if it's a one-on-one, how do you make 3 million? How many videos can you make in one day? Or how much sex could you have in one day? Or how many times could you strip or do things in one day?
I don't know how OnlyFans works.
I don't either,
somebody's like, I'll give you 50 grand if you do this.
50 grand? But how many times?
To make 3 million in one day. Okay, I don't know.
Divide 50 grand or by 3 million. That's a lot.
You better sign up for OnlyFans, Jeff.
Dude, I mean, how many holes do I got? It's a lot of work in one day.
Okay.
Anyways, let's get back on track here. I'm just waking up.
So I'm going to start with some voicemails first on these. This is Allie Shit Show.
Oh, these are voicemails.
Hey, Jeff and Jordan. This is Allie from Dayton, Ohio. I've been listening to you probably for the last year, ever since my mom got me hooked on your podcast. I'm 26, and I remember watching you guys on Big Brother when I was a kid. So totally full circle. I love that your new hotline assignment is messy stories. So I'm calling you from a little shit show. I have a 7-month-old daughter, and she has a little bit of diaper rash going on right now. So I decided to set her on a pee pad in our living room, let her air out. She literally pooped everywhere, all over my walls, my floor, her toys, everything. So I'm currently in the middle of cleaning my carpets, just gave the baby a bath, and I have about 5 loads of laundry to do. So there's my messy story. Thanks for keeping me entertained, guys.
Wow.
Allie, thanks for keeping us entertained.
A literal shit show.
That is so relatable with babies. I have had that done before with the boys, just laying them down and not the pooping, but just like peeing, and then you have peeing on the floor, and then you got laundry to do, and then you're trying to cook, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Man, I don't miss those days.
Dealing
I remember
with the
like
baby.
you put them in the bath or something, then like you lay them down and they pee everywhere or they poop, and like, man, I just gave you a bath.
Yeah.
I see people like with strollers and at the airport or getting out of a car or something. I'm like, wow, it seems like forever ago. It wasn't that long ago.
I remember thinking, I can't wait till we're done with the stroller phase, because that got a little old. Like, especially when we lived in our old apartment, I would park, I think I would go up to the 4th floor or something in the parking. And that was just, it was a lot. And I had all these clips on my stroller so I could clip groceries. And then I had a toddler stand on the stroller. And then I clipped Leighton in. It was just, that was a time. And that was when you were gone all the time. So I don't miss that. But Allie, good luck.
Hang in there.
I am with you.
I've said this before, but nobody likes advice, but I always like to give this piece of advice to people with babies. And you know what I'm going to say. My buddy Bayard told me this, and I said this on the podcast. Don't worry, Allie, about the problem you're having right now, because that will go away. Obviously, it's pooping. That'll go away. But whatever problem you're dealing with right now, that problem will go away, but another one will take its place. So if you feel like this, oh my God, they're never sleeping or they're never going to stop doing this, they'll stop, but something else will take its place. Mm-hmm. And that was the best advice I got, because especially when they're babies, you don't know, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. This is never going to end. You'll get through it. Just something else is going to happen.
And then it's the next phase. Like right now, I'm dealing with Leighton and an attitude. His attitude is like next level lately. And I was talking to Jeff today. I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? How are we going to handle this? And the only thing that really works for us is because our kids are so obsessed with their friends and want to be with the neighbors all the time. The only thing that really upsets them and makes them mad and makes them want to listen is if you take friends away from them. And you go upstairs. Sorry, you're not hanging out. Your friends are all outside having a great time. Watch out the window and enjoy. That really bothers them. So I kind of use that against, but he has just been, a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully this is
the phase that I'm in, and just bickering with him. And I don't know. Sometimes I want to sit in my car and cry. And then other times I'm like, and then I'm just mad. And then I'm like, I have to control my temper.
Yeah, and we can't both go at him. You got to have a good cop and a bad cop.
Yeah.
So when you're screaming, you're like, why aren't you doing anything? I'm like, what do you want to do? Double team him like WWF and get after it?
No, normally with Leighton, with me, I'm the one that can always like direct him. And lately I haven't even been able to like direct him or like calm him down. And he just back talking and being so disrespectful. And I'm like, nope, we are not having this. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll go on to the next one.
Everybody's got problems. Before you go on to that, remember, I don't know why I just thought about this, because it was a puppy pad. Remember when we got those colonics?
Oh, yeah.
And then they gave us those puppy pads when you're done.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? You like when they lay you on a puppy pad to do a colonic. We did
we
a colonics.
lay on our side.
Yeah, we did colonics for Jeff and Jordan Do America. Again, we talked about this way in the past, but they put you like on a puppy pad. Remember? Because they fill you up with water and then you got to run to the bathroom.
That's
and they put you like on the things like this.
And then water just kind of sprays out.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
they put you on a giant squatty potty and like.
I don't think I loved my colonic.
That was the only one I ever got.
It kind of hurt.
Well, yeah, something went up your ass and water. Then they turned the hose on.
The thing up my butt didn't hurt. It was when they turned the hose on. I'm like, oh.
Well, if you haven't got a colonic before, that's basically what it is. They put a hose in your butt and then they turn the water on. And your stomach, you're literally laying down and your stomach, you could see it getting bigger. And then when you can't take it anymore, you're like, all right, stop. And then they immediately flush it. And there's a tube on the wall and you could see like everything come out of your stomach. It really, it's supposed to clean you out. Some people swear by it. Like when they get sick, like our buddy, you know what I'm talking about? Like they used to do enemas all the time. It's like an old school. Yeah, it's old school.
Okay, so this one is Mary Noro.
Hi, Jeff and Jordan. My name is Mary. I'm from Minnesota. So sorry about your Bears, Jeff. I can totally relate. They had a great season, but too bad. Anyway, yes. I was calling because of the sickness that you just recently had going through your health, and I have a story that I think you guys would like. So I ended up with the Norovirus, that same thing that Jordan had with the vomiting and the pooping at the same time. And I have a daughter, and she probably was about 8 at the time, so I'm in the bathroom, and I have gone through underwear and puking, pooping at the same time. It was disgusting. And so I called my daughter up to the bathroom, just to peek in, and I said, hey, honey, can you grab me a pair of underwear? Mommy needs some underwear. And she went into my bedroom, and she brought me back a thong. Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, honey, this is not going to do anything. Could you go back and find Mom the biggest pair of granny panties that you can? Anyway, I had to share. I know she thought I was feeling gross and needed to feel better, so she grabbed me something that she thought might help, but no. Anyway, I thought you'd appreciate that. And have a great day. Love your guys' podcast. Been watching you since your Big Brother days. Thank you. Bye.
Oh my God, Mary.
Wow, people are really sharing. I like it.
I love that. I needed a diaper. It was so bad. And I needed the big granny panties too. No thongs.
Jordan just poops in a bag and ties a knot in it and just leaves it there. So do that next time. Do that and then get hateful comments online for not taking it out.
I hope you have the poops at work and when you're on air. And
on air? Jesus.
And then you have to run to the bathroom and use them.
If I poop my pants on air, I'm just running home. I'm not coming back.
Do you think that's happened to somebody on air?
I'm sure.
Not where they've gone in their pants, but
I'm sure somebody pooped their pants on television and didn't say something. If you could think of it, because I do that all the time, I think of weirdish stuff, and I'm like, do you think that's ever happened? I think like if you could think of it, somebody's done it.
I think on DBL, didn't you have like an upset stomach one time? You had to run. It was a commercial break, and you ran to the bathroom real fast, and then you came back. I thought you told me that.
To poop or to throw up?
To poop.
I don't know. Probably. I was there for...
I think you did, and I remember being like, wow, that's like record breaking. That you did it that fast.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember specifically, but maybe. I didn't poop on air.
Well, thank God.
But somebody probably has.
That would be
Thanks for sharing. Who was that?
Mary.
Mary, thanks for sharing from Minnesota and for caring about my Bears.
Hey guys, we love our AG1. And if there's a habit you are going to consistently do, start your AG1. I am not good at following and sticking through things, but one thing that I have followed through and through is my AG1. I've been taking it for 2 years now. I love it. I love that I get my vitamins. I love that it helps my gut health. It helps those bowel movements.
Yeah, everybody likes it for different reasons. It just makes me feel good. Even when I'm on vacation, we take our travel packs with us. Now they come in great flavors. So there's tropical, berry, citrus. There's no reason not to start this habit right now, even if it wasn't one of your New Year's goals.
AG1's the first thing I put in my body, 4 ounces of AG1, and I take mine to go on the way to drop off with my kids with school.
prebiotics, probiotics, all the multivitamins that you need. And you know what I love the best about AG1 is they're constantly trying to improve their formula to get better.
AG1 has over 50,000 verified 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. For a limited time only, go to drinkag1.com/togetherness to get a free AG1 flavor sampler and an AGZ sampler to try all the flavors, plus a free vitamin D3, K2, and AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. This is a limited time offer, only available while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/togetherness, drinkag1.com/togetherness. Okay, welcome back. This is Sandy. We're continuing with our voicemails.
Hey, Jeff and Jordan. This is Sandy calling from New York. I had to laugh when you guys were talking about your Instagram algorithms. And Jeff, you had come across soaking your feet in hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do that one, by the way. But I also just saw one on my Instagram feed about using, I think, table salt in a bowl near your bed. And it's supposed to draw negative energy out of the room and also help with toxins and supposedly give you a better night's sleep. So I just started last night, and I guess we'll see how it goes. I'll have to report back. Thanks so much for your podcast. It's light and easy, and when we're going through things in our own homes, that's a nice little getaway or a reprieve. So thank you for the laughs, and you guys have a great one. Bye.
I love that. Sandy, I've heard of things like that, and then you put socks over, and it's supposed to take the toxins out. But we need a report back. I need you to call this number and let us know how that works.
Well,
I might try that. I'm not even joking.
I've heard of like red onions, like you put red onion like in a bag and then you wrap your feet up or whatever. And you ever hear that? And the red onion's supposed to pull the toxins out, or you put a red onion next to your bag or next to your bed. And it like takes the bacteria. I've heard of that. I don't know if there's any scientific background to that, but I think a lot of things like if it works for you, even if it's psychological or a placebo, but it works for you mentally, I think that's just as good as medicine. Because people are always like the placebo effect that doesn't really work. But if it works for you in your mind, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated and all I'm doing is thinking negative thoughts, and I'm going to put this salt shaker next to my bed, and then you feel better in the morning when you wake up for psychological reasons, you see that and it triggers like positive energy. I think that's just as good. Even if it doesn't work scientifically, if it works mentally for you, I think it's just as good.
I think so too, because you already have that put in your mind.
Right. So where your mind goes, energy flows. You know, that's one of my things.
That's good to start.
Why'd you laugh at that? But I was thinking, she said like, you know what's funny about that? Who wrote that?
This was Sandy.
Sandy, yeah. So that's so funny. I was looking on Instagram for like little foot baths. I wanted to find one for like $1. I thought they just had them like laying around. I was going to order them and do the episode in Peroxide while we sat here.
One of our episodes?
Yeah, and just sit here and soak our feet the whole time while we do it and see if we feel anything.
Okay, we could.
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy, dude? I mean, that's a crazy thought, but every word I say, you're like, okay.
Well, I don't know how I feel about me putting my feet in peroxide, but you could.
What do you mean? It's not like you're skydiving. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'd let you do it first.
All right, I'll do it first.
Because I freak out.
I think there's something to baking soda. And now again, my algorithm is kind of sending me everything with baking soda.
Why do you have so much baking soda?
Because I talk about it all the time. And I think it's like a cure for like, okay, you guys are going to think I'm crazy.
In our pantry today, I was cleaning the pantry.
I just bought a bunch of baking soda.
No, there's like 5. I would go, in my head, I was like, why does Jeff have like 5 baking sodas?
Because I went and bought a bunch of them.
And then you have baking soda in the fridge.
Well, one, you're supposed to put it in the fridge. You never heard of that? They have like little things that you open and you put it in the fridge, and it's supposed to take out like smells and stuff in your fridge.
Okay.
So I put them in both fridges, and then I saw like, and then you could clean pots with it. So you could clean like anything with baking soda and vinegar. So you put it on your pots, you let it sit, it gets out all that other stuff with like warm water. Then I've been seeing like you put baking soda. You can't just wash your fruit anymore. I'm going insane. Like,
I've seen this on Instagram.
Don't, just bear with me, because I'm very, this whole thing, cancer going around, and we've talked about it a million times, but I'm not going to stop because there's pesticides in our food. There's all sorts of preservatives in our food. And it really makes me nervous, and like what we're feeding our kids. And that's why I kind of got into that whole RFK thing. And I know some people got upset because he's on one side of the aisle. I don't give a fuck about that. I care about what my kids are eating. I don't care who brings it up. I just want my kids to eat better, right? I don't care if a Democrat brings it up. I don't care if a Republican brings it up. Just get that shit out of our food. And then I saw some lady throwing away all of her food, like even though it was from Whole Foods, like bacon, all this stuff that has like this preservatives and then this big word that begins with a P that I can't understand. They're at Whole Foods pointing it out, like don't get tricked at Whole Foods. This still has this in there.
I told you, my friend said Whole Foods is not that great either. She said you go to Sprouts or a farmer's market. That's how you know it's safe.
Yeah, so going back to baking soda, they say wash your fruit, like get all your fruits and berries and things like that, put it in a bowl with baking soda for like 10 minutes. And that's how you really clean out your food.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah. So now I feel like cheap products. I feel like baking soda, it's so cheap. Pharmaceutical companies don't have their hands on it. Peroxide, there's a lot of remedies and things with peroxide, super cheap. And you're going to think I'm insane.
Vinegar?
I know nothing about, vinegar or apple cider vinegar you're supposed to take every day. I don't know if that's true or not. And I really do think a lot of COVID, again, this is not medical, it's not scientific, it's just my observation that a lot of COVID, they did not mention this, but if you just took a vitamin D pill, because people were staying inside, they weren't getting sun, I think vitamin D really would have knocked down COVID. Again, this is total conspiracy theory. This is just my opinion, but they didn't recommend that enough to people because it's so cheap. But the pharmaceutical companies wanted you to buy their product, which someone made billions off of. I know I sound like I'm just ranting like a crazy person.
They say not to get root canals either because there's so many nerves and it can cause a lot of problems if it's done wrong.
Yeah, that one I don't know if I believe in as much. These simple oh my God, what's wrong with me? Remedies, I think I'm going back to those. I know I'm insane, but
That's
I really do feel like
baking.
I don't know. I'm going to start going back to old school and like, hey, take this and then you got to take 5 different shots for this and then you take this pill, but the side effects are crankiness, allergies, falling asleep, going insane. Like just listen to all the side effects from all these medications that we're just pumping in our body. Nobody wants to take the vaccine or didn't want to take the vaccine, but everyone's sticking needles in their body every day to try to lose weight. It's like, I don't know. Everything's crazy. All right. I did my rant. You want to do another voicemail? I just question so many things now and just where's all this cancer coming from? It really like frightens me.
It's okay to question. I had this conversation at the hair salon. It was actually nice. I was sitting with some stylists and we were all talking and just about cancer, health insurance, things like that. And one of the girls, her cancer's back. And I was like, how? She's my age.
It's coming from our food. It's coming from our food, but we're never going to get that answer from the government. Never, ever.
No, we won't because we need to die so they can make money.
All right, okay, everybody.
Next one. This is Shelly, old neighbor.
Hey, Jeff and Jordan, this is Shelly. I live right outside of Nashville. I've been wanting to call you guys for a while, so I'm glad that y'all put the phone number on the last episode. So, Jordan, when you guys were on, I think it was the first season of Big Brother, I became obsessed with you guys. I just thought y'all were the cutest thing. And I was talking to my boss about it, Blake, and he said, Jordan, and he looked you up, so I guess he didn't watch Big Brother, but he grew up with you. I think he was y'all's neighbor. His name is Blake Gillum, and him and his sister
lived, I don't know if it was right next door or just a couple houses down. And he said he just grew up in North Carolina with you guys and just had some funny stories. So when you've had your dad on, I've always wanted to listen if y'all ever mentioned Blake's name, and I can't remember his sister's name. But I just thought it was so cool. I love you guys. I listen every week, and I've followed y'all's journey over the years. I just hope you'll have a great 2026, and I love you guys. Yes.
Shelly, thank you for calling. So that is right. That is so funny you said that. Blake and Haley is his sister's name. Haley was my best friend in kindergarten, and they live 2 or 3 houses down from us. And Haley and them moved to Nashville. I believe it was Franklin. And I think she moved away.
Isn't Franklin that really nice part?
Very nice.
Yeah.
But they moved away a long time ago. I think before Franklin was what it is now. Now Franklin, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like everybody goes there like it's like the happening spot.
That's how I know about it. I've never
expensive.
been there. Yeah.
All the country singers live there. Brentwood is very nice too. But yes, Blake was my sister's age and Haley was my age. And yes, I was very sad when she moved away. I remember when we were going up to visit my grandparents, because my grandparents lived 3 hours from Nashville, and we made a stop to go see them. And her grandmother, I'm trying to think, I think they called her Grandma Kitty, and she was so sweet. And I just remember her being super lovable and kind. But isn't that funny how you remember? That was kindergarten. I was 5 years old and I remember all of that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nowadays No Hangover Club. And the first rule of No Hangover Club is no hangover.
I love not having a hangover, but I do like having a little bit of a buzz.
This is something I really do every single night. A lot of people like to have wine or a couple beers. I have to get up early for work every day, or I'm getting up early on the weekends for kids' sporting activities. And I don't like to have that hangover, but I do like to relax at night. And that's where Nowadays comes in. Again, everything in moderation is great.
And I like that you don't have the extra calories.
Yeah, you pour it over ice. It's just like you're drinking. You're still socializing, but again, no hangover.
Nowadays is a 0-proof THC infused beverage that delivers a clean, balanced buzz, no hangover, no bloat, no regrets. Just a smooth taste, a social lift that actually feels good, and a smarter way to drink. Because fun shouldn't come with a cost, welcome to the upgrade.
Welcome to Nowadays. So all you got to do is visit nowadays.com/togetherness. That's MESS. And for our listeners only, you get 30% off your entire order. That's trynowadays.com/togetherness or use code togetherness at checkout. Store locator, drink responsibly, and you must be 21 years or older. I think 5 is like where you really start your memories. Mm-hmm. Don't you? Could you some people are like, I remember when I was 3 or something. I don't remember when I was 3. You know, like 5, like kindergarten. I still have some vague memories of like kindergarten.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember.
But I don't know if they're just memories of my memory or if they're the actual memory.
Okay, this is weird. I remember one time, I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was like 3, being in a crib and being scared. And I remember my mom coming in, and this was when we lived in Louisiana. But I just remember, it's just a very short memory, but my nap times and my mom coming in. But when you're 3 years old, how do you know what scared is? So I remember feeling scared, but when you're that young, you're not seeing anything scary. All you do is get love. So how do you know what scary is?
I think it's instilled in you.
In you?
You know, it's like a survival instinct. You know, you ever see like when a deer is born and they could barely walk?
Yeah.
You know, they know what scared is. Mm-hmm. They're born and their first instinct is like not to get eaten. So I don't know how long ago, you know, where that comes from. But I think again, we're just talking out of our ass. We have no scientific backing to anything we say.
No, but I think it's just
instilled in you, you know, like a survival mechanism.
I remember my mom going into the Limited at the mall with her, and I would hide in the racks while she was looking, and she'd be like, Jordan, and kind of freak out. And then I'd let her freak out for a minute, and then I'd pop out. I'm like, what a jerk I was.
Now you're a parent. How do you like that?
So I took Leighton to a birthday party, and I was sitting like towards the front. I always kind of sit towards the front. So if my kids are running around, nobody can get them because I can watch like what's going on. I'm a weirdo. I always get right up front where I can like see. So I'm just sitting, and I told Lawson, I go, this is where I'll be. And it had been a minute, and Leighton was there for a birthday party. So there were a bunch of kids from school and a lot of parents there from school, and everybody was running around. And I hadn't seen Lawson for a minute, and I know he was with some kids from school. But I got up and I was just standing there kind of looking, and then I see Leighton. I go, hey, where's your brother? And he goes, oh, he's over there playing basketball. I go, oh, can you go get him and tell him that we got like 30 minutes left? I always give my kids a countdown. And Leighton goes, he's not over there. So then I was like, where did he go? So I just got up and walked away, and I told Lawson, I go, I'll be right here. And he came back, and I walked straight. Lawson was coming back, and he didn't see me. And so he did the right thing. I told him, if you can't ever find me and you feel lost, either if somebody's there that you know from school, go to them, or go to somebody that works there that's wearing like the shirts you wear, or if there's a security guard, you go to them. So he did the right thing. He went to the birthday party to ask like where I was, but he couldn't find me, and he started crying. And I felt so bad.
That's scary.
But I was trying to find him because I hadn't seen him in a minute. And I'm like, where did Lawson go? I'm like, I know he couldn't have got out because I've been sitting right up front, and I wasn't on my phone or anything. I was just watching all the kids and observing. And normally it was like my time. I like people watch and watch all the kids like running around having fun. But I gave him a big hug, and I go, Lawson, I'm so sorry. I go, but you did the right thing by going to the party and people you knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what's weird that you just said that? Because I do remember having that fear. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say something else. But I do remember having that fear of like losing my parents in a store. And just for a second, you turn around and they're gone.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how old I was. But then immediately like rushes through your mind. You're like, they're at home. They're gone. I'm like, how am I going to live? Remember like that? You ever have like that? I still remember that fear of like, what am I supposed to do? Do I start a fire by myself? How do I remember like all these crazy things. And all of a sudden my mom or dad's like, hey, what are you doing? Come over here. I was like, oh, good thing I don't have to catch my own fish. I don't know why I had like these crazy thoughts.
I remember
and it was just for like a second.
Your mom saying that she could always find you by the balls.
Yeah, always. So when I see those things, because I always loved dribbling those balls or throwing it. They had those wire baskets, with all those like 10-cent balls or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And then it was funny when Lawson was a baby, he would do that too. He would always play with the ball.
If Jeff was born earlier, you would have been one of those kids that would have been like kidnapped on, what was his name?
John Wayne Gacy.
Because he lived not too far from Jeff's parents' house.
Yeah, I've told that story.
I know, but you would have been one of those
That was in the 70s. That's what my mom always said, because I always did like side jobs, like tile jobs.
But I could see you wondering.
Yeah, because I was the last kid of, I had two older brothers, the last of three. So they were a little bit more lenient. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was my own, like, just come home when the streetlights are on. I was kind of did my own thing. I'd go to the park, did whatever. I was kind of a wanderer. But they were a little less lenient with me. But yeah, that was a decade before me. Like I was born. But it's funny, I was talking to your dad the other day, and he goes, some guy that I talked to, I forgot the relationship. I think he maybe lives with them at the lake, but he goes, he grew up right outside Chicago, and he goes, I didn't remember the town, but he was at this like Ukrainian church or whatever. It had like 3 gold caps on
Wasn't
it.
that by your parents?
Yeah, right by Cumberland.
Yeah.
Yeah, right by Cumberland. And he goes, and I grew up not far from John Wayne Gacy's house. So where I lived,
and this guy lives by my dad?
Yeah, now he lives by your dad. But I grew up in a small town called Norwich, and that's where John Wayne Gacy lived. He was on the Chicago side. So if from my house where I grew up, if you go not even a quarter mile, like up the block, I don't know what direction is, but like that's not Cumberland. What street is that? Dang, Harlem? I can't even remember. No, Harlem's down. What's the one that, I can't remember. I could see it. I can't remember. That's how long it's been.
You took me by there. It only took like...
What's that street that cuts through, that hits the church? Anyways, it's not important. So if you go up not even a quarter of a mile from where I grew up, Norwich is a little town surrounded by Chicago. So if you go up a quarter mile, that's Chicago. Then on the other side of that street that I can't think of, oh my God, my buddy Tony Marty's going to be listening to this and be like, he's screaming it out right now. I can't believe you can't remember, you scumbag. So anyways, if you go up another quarter mile, John Wayne Gacy, there's this church called St. Eugene's, and he lived on the other side of St. Eugene's. And if you go like a quarter mile this way, that's where that church is. So we kind of we're like in a triangle from where that guy grew up. That was a long-winded story to say we all lived close to John Wayne Gacy.
Why do you think the 70s and 80s had the craziest serial killers? But you don't really hear of serial killers now. I'm sure there are some.
I think it was harder to get caught back then.
But do you think but like when I think of Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm like, no, he wasn't doing it for attention. He had he was crazy. He had a sickness.
But there is those murder shows. Was that one in New Jersey where by the ocean and he buried all those girls in the beach? Yeah.
And he had a family.
So I think there still is, sick, deranged people, but I don't know how much it gets publicized these days.
I always think that my mind always goes when I see people, or even if you're in a nice neighborhood, I'm like, who's the psycho in this neighborhood? And I'm like, who does weird things behind closed doors?
Because there always is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Our neighborhood's very spread out. It's very big.
But I don't think it matters where. I think no matter, everyone listening has, isn't that weird? What I wanted to say before I forget, I do want to get back to that too. But going back to the department stores, remember just being in department stores and you're like, is anyone a parent of Leighton? I have him up at the front desk. Could you come get Leighton?
Oh, yeah.
That every time I was in a department store, a kid got lost and they knew. Now I think parents are scared to be like, hey, there's a kid by himself over here. You don't hear that anymore. I've never heard that. And you kind of struck a memory that I was like, you don't hear hey, I have a kid up here named Jason. He doesn't have his parents. You don't want that shit publicized because you're so scared of weirdos.
I don't like taking both boys to the mall with me because one goes one way, the other will go the other. And then I get nervous about losing them. I like when taking them one-on-one, when it's just me and Lawson or me and Leighton, and they have my full attention. I don't like going with both of them because I am so paranoid. The other day I was walking to the car and Leighton had a sucker and was playing with some twirly thing. And me and Lawson get to the car. I'm like, where's Leighton? Where is he? And then Leighton was just looking around, taking his time. But I freaked out for a second.
Yeah, you freak out. You don't have any opinion about the department store paging people?
No, I do remember people doing that. I remember my brother getting lost and they found him. He ran out of the store and went to the fountain. Malls used to have fountains.
Yeah.
And Peyton was jumping around and fell in, and that's how they found him. And my mom ran out. But now you would be a bad mom or somebody would blast you on social media.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe if they're like, hey, your kid's up here and you get shamed now. You're not watching your kids. How dare you? Yeah. I'm looking for my mom, Jordan, and I know Lawson.
That's why these times
I bet you're
stink.
right.
It's
I bet
not
you're
like
right.
the 80s or 90s, 70s, 80s or 90s. Those were the best. And that's why it stinks because now everybody's like, oh, I got my phone.
Yeah, Jordan doesn't take care of her kids.
Yeah.
I heard. That might be part of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to get shamed. But people do spring into action. If you're I lost my kid, or you ever see a frantic mom, oh my God, I lost my little girl. Everyone kind of chips in. That's at least there's still society left that everyone's oh my God, what do they look like? Let me help you.
Yeah.
And then usually it's they were hiding under the rack of your clothes or something.
But back then you didn't have to worry about that. I remember.
But you did though. We just didn't. But there were serial killers. Kids got snatched. I mean, the same bad stuff. It's not like bad things didn't happen back then.
Who's the guy from America's Most Wanted?
The gray-haired guy?
Yeah, Walsh.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah.
I remember my mom, when that happened, his son got kidnapped I mean, that was like, I think in the 80s when that happened, I want to say. But I remember my mom using that as an example. Like if we were going to the mall or somewhere, I remember my mom telling me how his son got kidnapped at the mall, right?
Whose? Walsh's son got kidnapped?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And killed. And that's how.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's how he got started and all that?
That's how he started America's Most Wanted, because his son was I believe it was a department store with his mom, and he got kidnapped, and they've never found him.
No
ever.
way.
And
I never heard that story.
Really?
Yeah.
And my mom used that as an example when I was a kid. I mean, I think it happened in the 80s. Let me Google it.
You better double check that, because I've never heard that story. It might be true. While you check that, it's funny because I was just talking to Peyton and you mentioned him being in the fountain. I just talked to him, and last weekend he got drunk and was in the mall fountain.
John Walsh, Adam Walsh, was 6 years old, kidnapped from a Florida mall in 1981 and murdered. A tragedy that led John to co-found National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Wow. I tried to tell a joke. You didn't listen. I shouldn't have done that during that part. But
he was abducted from Sears in Hollywood, Florida.
Huh. I did. Well,
I said they never found him, but I guess they did. Sorry, I'm looking at this. I'm sorry. But my mom, I remember using that as an example. Like,
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All right. Well, we can't end on that. What else you got?
We have another voicemail.
Let's do one more voicemail. We can't end on that terrible story. I didn't know. That makes sense why he's so passionate about that. Wow.
Yeah.
So you heard us talk about Hungry Root in the past and how much we love it, because it really does simplify our life as much as I love cooking.
We have sports during the week, and then homework, studying, everything gets pretty hectic. But when you have Hungry Root and all the meals are planned for you, it makes life so much easier during the school year.
Yeah, and you're not sacrificing flavor, dietary needs, or taste. There's something for everybody on Hungry Root's menu. All you got to do is go online. It's so simple. I actually enjoy doing it because it asks what your preferences are, your dietary needs, and you get exactly what you want in every meal.
Hungry Root now has over 50,000 chef-crafted recipes to choose from each week, with some meals ready in 15 minutes or less, and that's me. I want easy, simple, easy to go.
It's the best thing when you don't have time to cook.
Hungry Root holds all its foods to high standards. Hungry Root makes it easy to stick with your goals that you have throughout the year.
You're going to love Hungry Root as much as we do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. All you got to do is go to hungryroot.com/togetherness. That's MESS, and use code TogetherMess. That's hungryroot.com/togetherness, code TogetherMess, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
Yes. Dad, Jordan, love you from Fort Worth, Texas. I have been following you guys from A1 Day One all the way back to the Big Brother days. You hear it all the time. I am a big fan. With that being said, Jeff, I don't appreciate you talking down to Jordan just because she threw up in trash cans when she was sitting on the toilet. You then asked her about it 2 or 3 times in a heated voice. I was so annoyed at you, by the way. And she still wasn't feeling good. I want to say period on this message. Anyway about it, you need to understand, if she's sitting on the toilet, she cannot puke in the toilet at the same time. Understood? Just making sure. Yes, she could have thrown away her trash bags, but again, she still wasn't feeling good. And from my understanding, she does her fair share of cleaning. I do love you, Jeff, but you know, you're kind of like my husband. When you're focused on something, you really don't listen. So start listening. See you later. I'm Tracy again from Fort Worth. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, I love Tracy.
Tracy could fuck off. I'm just joking. Tracy, you called on the wrong day. You should have called yesterday because we were doing some Jeff bashing. I don't know why people are so upset. That's disgusting. If you have enough strength to throw up in a bag and tie it and make a little collection next to your bed, you have enough strength to throw it in the garbage.
I would have thrown your shit away.
Well, next time
Well,
I'm
actually,
going to
why did I say that? I meant vomit. I would have thrown your vomit away.
I'm going to do it on purpose next time and see what happens.
Good. I do it all the time.
You don't have to get pissed about it again. I'm already getting bashed for it. I'm holding strong.
Are you?
Yeah.
We got one of our questions. Somebody asked, would you move to Texas? I would totally move to Texas. I feel like I would fit right in with Texas people.
It's because it's the South.
My grandpa's brother lived in Dallas.
It's really hot there.
I could live there.
I probably could too, but it's really hot.
I think you could. So when DBL ended and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, I was looking at houses in Fort Worth because I was like, I'll move. I love Colorado though, but I
do like the Texas lifestyle, but we'd get bashed in Texas for not being from Texas. You know what I mean? Texas people they're Texas strong. And we'd be like, we don't want you moving here type of deal. You know?
You think so? Maybe you, because you're a city boy. I think I just fit right in.
You could lie about it.
I think I would squeeze my way back in.
I do like the Texas
and
lifestyle.
And Ye is in Dallas.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
was another reason. So if I ever had to move, so that was one of the questions, I would move to Dallas, Fort Worth, or I would never move back to Charlotte, but I would move to like the East Coast, like the beach somewhere on Charlotte. And those are my places. Where would you go?
I don't know. I thought about that. I do like the East Coast beaches. If I had to move, I'd probably go to a little beach town, but not like a popular one. Yeah. Like a smaller one. Not like, I do love Charleston, but it's
too popular.
Yeah.
Now.
I want to get away from
people.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get away from the people and the politics of a big city. And I just don't, I want to go to a little beach town.
The Jeff I met would have never said this when we first started dating. I remember you being like, I am a city guy. You loved the city. And I remember thinking, I don't know if we're going to work out because I always loved the suburbs and small town stuff. And I was like, we are so opposite. And now you've changed.
Well, yeah. Every decade that goes on, I just want to move further and further. By the time I'm 70, I'm going to be on top of a mountain by myself somewhere. But I want to go I could just visualize in my mind, a little beach town.
I already know one.
Where I could just go fishing on the ocean, eat my own fish, hey, Bob, what's going on? He already knows what I like to drink. Just have a beer in there. No, political bullshit agendas and just live life,
There was one that I was like, I'm moving here for sure. And after COVID, now, oh my gosh, the prices are crazy and everybody's leaving northern places and going down south. They're going for the weather is better. It's more affordable, quality of life, everything.
Yeah, no, it is. I think a lot.
I feel like a lot of people too, when my mom worked at the bank, she would get a lot of people that had kids, younger kids that lived in, when I say younger kids, I'm saying 25, 28-year-olds starting their life. And they would come here to Colorado because they're like, oh, I love to ski. I love the outdoors. And half of them, my mom said when she would check back in, they would last 2 years here and they would move back because they're like, it's crazy expensive.
Yeah, things are expensive. I don't know.
But yes, I would live in a little beach town and just go to little beach bars and ride my golf cart and call it a day.
Go fish, get a little boat.
I would be in flip-flops every day.
See that?
In my bathing
I could dig.
suit.
I could dig that.
But we'd have to do that when the boys are older because our kids are obsessed with their friends here. And I know they're resilient and they would adjust anywhere, but they would be devastated.
Yeah. And right now I do love where I live. We're not in Denver. We're outside Denver. So we're outside the city. And I used to say they used to tell people if you don't get outside your bubble, that's all you're going to think about the rest of your life, travel, get outside, talk to different people, everything going on. I want to get in a bubble insulate that bitch and just stay in there. I don't want to hear other people's opinions about what's going on or how to change the world when you ain't doing shit about it and you're at a Britney Spears protest with a sign when you should be at work.
Remember though, when we first moved to Denver, we were like, oh, we want to live in the city, just coming from Los Angeles, and we want to be where we could walk everywhere and be like right in the middle of everything. And we loved it. And then our boys' pediatrician's office is down by where we used to live. And from living out here in the burbs, and then when I go down there to the city, I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Get me back over to the burbs, because I'm used to it just being slower paced, people more friendly, and I just like it a lot better.
I'm a burbs guy.
Yeah, we definitely are.
All right, let's end it there.
All right. Quote.
Oh, quote it up. People are really
sorry. This episode I feel like was a little lame.
Well, I just rolled.
Jeff just rolled in here.
Yeah, what's happening here? All right, there we go. All right, ready? You can become blind by seeing each day as a similar one. Each day is a different one. Each day brings a miracle of its own. It's just a matter of paying attention to this miracle. See?
Yeah.
Love?
All right, guys. Send it. Keep calling. Send in your questions, all that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you for all seriousness. We joke around a lot, but thank you so much for calling in and those questions. Again, every time it reassures me, I guess. I'm like, oh, people are listening. You know, it does mean something, even though we talk about nothing.
Yeah, nothing, because we have nothing going on in our lives. Okay, bye.